This is why I was saying just a moment ago that I wonder if what really does separate the political factions in this country is cognitive faculties.
Oh, yeah. McConnell was talking so slow in that video earlier.
It's not just
that's
that,
like normalized.
It's you have people who believe literally anything the media says, and no matter how many times they're proven to be liars and wrong, they just keep doubling down. And I'm like, that's a certain level of zombism.
Yeah.
That, a lack of higher brain function. Like if someone comes to you and says, do you want to stick a gum? And then you're like, well, yes, I certainly would. And when you pull it out, it snaps your finger with those little prank traps they have. And you go, well, that kind of hurt. That was a dick move. Then you go, here, take another piece of gum. And then you go, I don't mind if I do. Snap, ow, man, stop doing that. Well, do you want gum for real time? Yes, I certainly do. Like at a certain point, it's like, what's wrong with you?
No,
he's just going to snap your finger again.
You're not wrong. There's still people who think that we went into Iraq because there were WMDs there. That's literally never going to change for a certain faction of the populace, even though years later it was proven definitively that wasn't even the case. It wasn't even remotely the case.
There are people that still believe Donald Trump defended white nationalists and neo-Nazis.
I think it was a Mark Twain
He's
quote.
also a Russian asset. Don't forget that.
There was a guy who went on MSNBC and argued that Donald Trump was a Soviet asset. Like the Soviet Union doesn't even exist anymore.
That was my favorite. I
was it Jonathan Chait?
I enjoyed that.
Well, to be fair, what he said was that Trump may have been an asset of the Russians since the 80s, which would imply he was an asset of the Soviet Union.
In the
80s. And after the Soviet Union collapsed, the infrastructure of Russia maintained him as an asset for their country.
That's my favorite fan fiction. That is my favorite
That one,
comic book story.
Can we do we need a skit where Donald Trump is like talking and then someone accidentally says the activation code and then Trump starts speaking Russian?
Yeah, like someone that can do.
No.
Can you imagine Donald Trump doing the?
Yeah.
Someone that can do a really good Donald Trump imitation, but speaking purely in Russian. I don't know how I couldn't.
That would be hilarious. No one's done that.
Funny. I think it'd be funny.
Trump in Russian?
Yeah, in Russian, but doing the
accordion thing.
With
Does Vidania, comrades?
Mark Twain has this quote. It says it's easier to fool people than to convince them they've been fooled.
Yeah,
and he was a smart dude.
There's a risk that like all this information doesn't convince people. It just makes them say, well, I want to pay less attention.
Yep.
It's if you make them feel stupid, they'll withdraw. So you got to do it in a way that people kind of empowers people rather than be like, you were so wrong. Look,
totally.
No, be like, look how much better off we are now that the truth is apparent.